Welcome back to the deep dive. So, you've brought us a really rare look inside a head coach's prep for the NFL divisional round.
Yeah, that's right.
And our mission today is to decode that mindset, right? To figure out what separates, truly elite preparation from just hoping for a win.
Exactly. We are stepping inside the war room. This isn't just about X's and O's. It's about how a top coaching staff manages a flood of information, how they look at their own past failures head on, and how they leverage every single tiny advantage they can find.
And the source material really gives us that complete picture. I mean, he outlines their whole game week schedule, treating Friday like a Thursday practice, all these little details.
It's all in there.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We have the basics, of course. It's a huge matchup against the Bills. And the tough news that players like Brandon Jones are unlikely to be back from injury.
Right.
But the real gold is the analytical depth. So, for you listening, our goal is clear. We're going to synthesize this whole strategic approach, we'll define some of the technical jargon, and we're going to debunk a few common playoff myths.
And we're also going to track the coaching DNA, the history that influences this entire game plan. We're going to trace this defensive philosophy back decades and show you exactly how data informs everything from personnel to psychology.
It's all about connecting the dots.
That's the whole game.
So, diving right in, let's talk about the coaching matchup. The respect that the coach shows for the Bills coach, Sean McDermott, it's really profound. He calls him a good friend.
Yeah, and you can tell it's not just the standard pregame talk. It's genuine. It's rooted in this shared coaching lineage.
Right, and that's what's fascinating, how quickly he grounds everything in history.
He does. McDermott's pedigree goes straight back to Andy Reid and, of course, the legendary defensive coordinator, the late Jim Johnson in Philadelphia.
Alongside guys like Steve Spagnuolo.
Exactly. And the coach didn't mince words. He called Jim Johnson one of the finest coordinators the league has, ever seen.
So for our listener who hears that name, Jim Johnson, and they nod along but maybe don't know the specifics, what does that connection mean? Why is that lineage so important for the defense they're facing this weekend?
It means they're facing aggressive complexity. Johnson's philosophy wasn't just, let's blitz. It was organized chaos. He popularized the fire zone, for instance.
Okay, define fire zone for us.
So a fire zone isn't just an all-out blitz. It's a specific concept. You rush 5 players, but, and this is the key, you drop 6 players into a specific, usually disguised zone coverage behind it.
So you get the pressure, but you still have coverage integrity deep. It's not a total gamble.
Precisely. It's about maximizing aggression while minimizing risk. And because McDermott comes from that school of thought, they know he believes in disguising his coverages, using those 5-man pressures, and dictating the tempo, not reacting to it.
So when the coach points to that connection, he's basically sending a message to his own team. We know their DNA, it's opportunistic, it's aggressive, and we have to be ready for it.
Yes, and it gets even more complex. Well, the source mentions that 3 or 4 of the opponent's offensive coaches were previously on this coach's staff in New Orleans.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that just raises the intellectual stakes. They don't just know the philosophy, they know the terminology, the tendencies, maybe even the inside jokes.
It's a game of feints and double bluffs. It's about using your opponent's knowledge of you against them.
So let's move from that kind of intellectual history to the nuts and bolts, the data-driven prep. The work started Sunday night as soon as the opponent was set.
Right. And they have this tool they use, which is what you really need to understand. They call it the analytical grid.
An analytical grid?
Yeah, think of it as a master class in filtering information. It's a custom-built database covering 2 full years of opponent data.
2 years? What? 2 years? Why not just say the last 8 games?
To stabilize the signal. 8 games can be noisy, right? 2 years gives you a big enough sample size to find the real, repeatable patterns and weaknesses. It filters out the outliers.
And what's in this grid? What are they tracking?
The key performance indicators. The final score, third down success, red zone metrics, rushing yards per carry, passing performance, all the vitals.
And the main takeaway from all that data, the thing that becomes the focus of the game plan.
It's about finding their kryptonite. They look at who played the Bills well, especially in their losses. And the data nugget is massive. The Bills lost the turnover battle in all but one of their losses over those 2 seasons.
That's incredible. That's not just a tendency, that's a law.
It's the highest leverage statistic they have.
Yeah.
It's not a philosophy, it's an empirical fact. If you want to beat this team, you have to win the turnover margin, period.
But the prep also meant facing a very specific failure from their own past.
Oh, yeah.
The coach brought up last year's game against Buffalo, the one where the Bills ran for, 210 yards against them?
A staggering number.
Yeah.
And you have to confront that. That kind of data forces you to admit you had a structural weakness.
And that failure, that, as you put it, trauma, directly led to changes.
Absolutely. It created the roadmap for their off-season personnel moves. The coach explicitly connected that defensive failure to needing players like Atanga for size on the inside and, crucially, Dre Greenlaw.
Tell us why Greenlaw is so vital here. It's more than just adding another good linebacker, right?
It's about a very specific strategic need against the run. That 210-yard game exposed a lack of immediate downhill penetration. Greenlaw gives you the ability to attack downhill. He reads plays quickly, he takes aggressive angles. He is the solution to the problem the data revealed.
The kinetic link between the failure and the fix.
A perfect way to put it.
And the challenge now is that they're facing the #1 rushing team in football. So it's not just about stopping a running back, it's the whole well-coached physical scheme.
And again, a scheme where some of the coaches on the other side know your tendencies. It's an intellectual chess match played at full speed.
Which brings us to the psychological side of things. The coach talks about these entrenched playoff myths that we all kind of cling to.
Right. He's moving from the statistical facts to the psychological ones.
Yeah.
They know earning a top seed gives you advantages, but they are very careful not to confuse those edges with guaranteed wins.
He said they deal with about 8 common myths, using their data to filter them out so they don't waste any energy on them. Let's dig into the 3 he mentioned.
Okay, so myth number 1. The all-powerful home field advantage.
The one everyone talks about.
Everyone. And he acknowledges it's important, but its real value is in one thing and one thing only: crowd noise. He pointed to the last playoff weekend, where several home teams lost, as proof that the numbers just don't support the idea that your building makes you invincible.
It's a tool, not a magical shield.
Exactly.
Then there's myth number 2, which is so tempting to believe. That rest guarantees a fast start.
It's a very seductive idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
A week off means you'll just explode out of the gate. But he stresses that rest does not ensure a fast start. A fast start has to be earned with perfect execution.
And the context here is everything. They're playing a team that's coming off, one of its biggest emotional wins in a decade.
That momentum is a real force. And your week of rest doesn't automatically cancel out their emotional high. Complacency is the biggest danger of the bye week.
He also touched on a 3rd myth, that postseason experience is the deciding factor.
Right, he just briefly noted that history and rosters don't really back that up either.
Right.
Some of the greatest Super Bowl runs came from teams with very little playoff experience.
So he mentioned they address about 8 myths? Let's speculate a bit. What else do you think falls into that bucket of high-stakes assumptions?
Well, I would bet that myth number 4 is about the idea that playoff football is fundamentally different.
More physical, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the data probably shows that it's just execution under pressure that's different, not some metaphysical change to the sport itself.
It's not different roles, just the best version of the regular season game.
Precisely. And myth 5 is probably momentum, the hot hand theory.
That the team that's hot coming in is destined to win.
But as their own grid shows, turnovers are the real predictor. A team can be hot, but still be turnover prone, which means that momentum is fragile.
What about history? Maybe myth 6 is we beat them last time, so we have their number.
Classic. A classic trap. Past results can build confidence, sure, but they also create predictable patterns a good opponent will exploit.
Right, and actively identifying and just eliminating these psychological myths, that seems like one of the most strategic things they do all week.
It absolutely is.
Okay, let's get back to the tactical side. The primary focus on defense is, of course, the opposing quarterback. And the coach is blunt about it.
He is. He says you can't always stop him. The goal has to be containment.
And that alone says so much. He talks about the first time he met him, maybe at a golf course or something, and just realizing his sheer physical size and power.
He's just incredibly difficult to bring down. Which leads to my favorite piece of jargon from the entire source.
Which is?
Second act explosives.
Second act explosives, I love that.
Isn't that great? It's not just about his arm. It's his ability to create huge plays after the first play breaks down. He climbs the pocket, he moves, he finds someone downfield. He turns what should be a broken play into a touchdown.
The power is it's off the charts. The anecdote about him gaining 7 yards on a quarterback sneak 7 yards.
It's absurd. It shows you're not just game planning for a quarterback, you're game planning for a physical anomaly.
And to do that, you have to go back to those defensive principles we talked about, the ones from that Jim Johnson tree.
That's right. So on offense, knowing they're facing that McDermott Spagnuolo strain of defense, they have to master a few core principles.
And the coach laid them out pretty clearly.
He did. First, the opponent will always try to keep a coverage shell. That's their safety net, usually 2 deep safeties to take away the deep ball.
Okay.
Second, they'll disguise that coverage extremely well right up to the snap. Third, they'll use those fire zones we discussed. And finally, they have to be ready for weak corner pressures.
High risk, high reward blitzes.
Extremely high risk. But that's their DNA. They believe in aggression and complexity.
So finally, let's circle back to that one small edge. The coach believes they can maximize the home crowd.
And this is a big deal historically. It's the franchise's first divisional round home game in a decade.
A long time.
And this is where the coach gets really specific. He gives actionable instructions to the crowd. He's turning noise into a quantifiable strategic weapon.
And the key is the timing. He needs them to be loudest, not when the opponent breaks the huddle, which is what fans normally do.
Right. He wants the noise when they enter the huddle.
Let's focus on that. Why is noise inside the huddle more destructive?
Because it disrupts the cycle at its most vulnerable point, communication. If the offense can't hear the play call in the huddle before they even get to the line, it increases the chance of a penalty, a busted play, a miscommunication.
It burns clock and creates confusion before the defense has to do a single thing.
Exactly. And he quantified it. He's not asking for 4 hours of screaming. He's asking for 10 seconds of peak noise for maybe half the offensive snaps. That, he says, is a huge advantage.
That is just a masterclass in preparation. From the historical roots of the defense to the analytical grid on turnovers, the personnel fixes for past failures, and then using the crowd as a tactical weapon.
And if you connect it all back, it shows you that professional preparation, in any field really, comes down to 2 things. First, rigorous data filtering like that 2-year grid to find the real drivers of success.
Not just the superficial stats.
Right. And second, critical evaluation. Actively identifying and debunking those myths so you don't waste energy on things that aren't grounded in reality.